So we went to this call. Anyway, 2 EMTs showed up. It was a medical call. Anyway, the 2 EMTs got there. Anyway, they was an EMS girl, EMT. And I walked up behind her.
Where was your hand at when you faced
Behind her, like I was going to pat her on the butt. But anyway, it's a sick damn joke. Excuse my language.
You're fine.
But anyway, my attorney got kind of pissed off with me because I can't remember what happened. That's how minute it was to me. And I don't remember. God don't remember. But okay. Anyway, it's just done skyball. This ain't got nothing to do with the girl getting her butt touched. The city manager, the former police chief, we were always good friends, yada, 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 but politics, I don't know. But anyway, the city manager there, he was a big Scott Worsley guy. He's a crook.
This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Welcome to another Shields of Shame video series. This series takes us to Miller, Georgia, with a population of 6,000. Deep in the South, seated in Colquitt County. In this series, we'll take you behind closed doors into a real GBI investigation, starting with an eye-opening interview involving Miller County officials Doug Coffey and Faye Whitaker. Here we'll explore their first-hand accounts and expose layers of a case involving accusations against Sheriff Rick Morgan. With each episode, we'll dive deeper, examining the testimonies of witnesses, county staff, and law enforcement to uncover the full scope of these allegations in the GBI investigation that followed. This is the story they don't want you to hear. Please let me know what you think of the interaction in the comments, and consider becoming a member for just 99 cents that supports content like this. Members get early access to releases and members-only content. Subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the releases in this series. We have a lot to cover. Thank you for your support. Now let's get into the video. Peace and love.
Are you going to need the statements? We got statements.
If you've got them, I would love to have a copy of them. It would just kind of give me a starting point to see what
When I
people
found
are
out
saying.
some news, I was told to kind of inform you. If you talk to y'all's agent from down here in Montana, he's made comments to her as well.
Okay.
That's what I was told to let you know. I do know that there is 2 girls at the courthouse. They're not telling me. The judge knows. He's just on vacation right now. He's telling me there's 2 girls that will be interviewed, but they're not coming forward. You're going to have to go to them.
Okay.
And that's the reason I kind of got to step out of it, because my mother-in-law is the clerk of court.
Okay.
And the girl's involved is my niece. I'll help out, whatever, but you can also check with her office, because there's a video. I don't know if you're aware of the video. Okay, there's a video. The judge called me, I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks ago. And he said, can you come down here? I want to talk to you, and I want to show you something that's very disgusting. I went down there, and he had it up on the screen, and you could see the sheriff. He said somebody had told him, because he drinks bad. I'm going to tell you that. Somebody had told him that he smelled like alcohol that morning, told the judge that. And then he said, I want you to watch this. So you could see him standing at the corner where the cameras are. And the mother and daughter, they work in that same office. So the daughter's 19. So they walked by, and they had dresses on, and you could see him reach, like that towards, it's low. And he said, did you see? I see that. He said, and see, the judge, he sees stuff like that all the time.
Is he the only person that would have access to the video?
If you need it today, our IT guy can get it.
Who are the 2 females at the courthouse?
I'm thinking that's who she said. I think he told me yesterday, Josh told me that he's been inappropriate things to her.
Now he has been very inappropriate with Curls.
That's the 19-year-old.
He did ask her something very inappropriate, but she's told that she was too scared to come forward.
And this is, I'm going to tell you what he told her. I'm going to tell you what he told her. This is a 60-year-old man or so.
50-something.
Told the little 19-year-old girl, you don't mind me laying my head on your chest
To take a
going to
nap
sleep.
during court.
And that's what he told
Told the 19-year-old.
Tegan.
Yeah, she'll
Tegan.
probably.
Now she'll tell you the truth if you ask her. She's just 19 and she's scared to death.
Because our sheriff will retaliate. That's just how he is. And I said, we're going to have when we found out about it, she come up there, the EMS director brought her, we did all that, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have a hard time with this one. And then the chief deputy brought his two girls over, and
There's, yeah.
and basically,
Well, you'll see it in their statements, but what he basically did, they were at this ambulance call. He walked over to his,
while they're working on the patient now.
yeah, he walked over to his two deputies and asked them if their body cameras were on, and they both tell that story. And they said no, and he kind of smirked and said good. And then
I'm going to investigate.
Before he walked over there, he had made a monkey motion like he was going to hit. Then he walked over, asked them if their cameras were on. They said no. He said good, and then he went back and smacked
Whispered
her.
something in her ear, and she said, "I can't remember what."
She
She
was
said, "I was
working
working
on
on a patient. I can't remember what he
But-
whispered." And then put his hand on her butt, and then patted it.
After he
slapped it,
made
patted
sure
it,
the
whatever.
cameras weren't on.
And so there's two deputies that
Yeah.
There's
witnessed
two
this.
deputies.
One's a chief one's
That's
investigator.
the evidence. All right, this is Isabella Lawson. She's our investigator, and then there's and this
Okay.
girl just started here.
Yeah,
She's
she
scared
just
to death.
started. They were scared to death, and I had to get the commissioners to approve that if he tries to retaliate, we're gonna put him on our
They're not
payroll
gonna
until
do
they
that.
sue him.
Yeah.
But they were fine with. After that, they said they're gonna give a statement.
And so the chief deputy wasn't there, but he was familiar from these two
Looked at him,
deputies.
didn't she?
No, so what I was told was that went to her grandmother, not as the clerk, but as the grandmother.
As her grandmother.
She told her, you need to talk to Byron, which is chief deputy.
Okay.
These two went to Byron and informed him what was going on at the time all this was going on. So apparently either Byron went to the EMS director or first, one of them. But anyway, that's how it got started. She went to the grandmother and his two deputies. And that's bad when your deputies feels that they have to go to the and let him know something going on.
Right.
But I don't know how Jimmy and Byron got mixed up.
I think Byron maybe called Jimmy.
Yeah. Y'all ain't got no spare sheriff that we could have, do you? And you know the situation with the
Yeah,
about the drinking and all that.
I've heard some
It's-
things.
it's-
Yeah,
He thinks he's above everybody.
Well, he's very, and I just don't like him. I'll just put it that way. He's very condescending to women.
Tell him what he told you on the phone. What he called you.
You know, I know we're in the South and people use little names, but he'll say baby and sweetheart and darling every time he
That's what he told her.
and you
And
feel
before
like
all
you
this
need
went down, I had to call him about something.
and you feel like you need
You
a
have a
shower.
good day, babe.
And he has called and cussed me out before, and I kind of told him in a roundabout way, I'm not the one you want to cuss. But he's very
Creepy.
He's creepy, and he has no respect for women at all.
Right.
He wouldn't. I mean, it's all. The ladies that work up here have always
Yeah.
said, you know, when he leaves, you feel like because
Well, I
he's
tell you,
all
the county
baby and
commissioner,
darling.
she told me last night, she said, Doug, I don't know what it is, but every time you're around him, it's just,
It's the way he-
you get that
Because a lot of people down here say, "Thank you, sweetie," and but he is very condescending
face.
with it, and no respect for women, basically. And you can any women that he has to deal with will tell you that he said.
That's what I think when you start investigating or start interviewing, I think you're going to see a lot more women come out, especially at the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Jennifer, but Jennifer's not going.
Oh, he seems to really like the younger girls, though.
Yeah.
I wonder about the prisoners, but I don't know. We need to interview the prisoners.
right. So it's the only person that you know that has physically been touched
That we know
that
of.
you know of.
Other than that video.
You know,
that-
there's the video that one of the female in the video is,
And the mother.
and it
Heather.
looks like he may have
Reached
motioned
out
to
to,
touch
yes.
her, but you can't tell for sure on the
That's
video
right.
if he did or
Yeah,
not.
and you make it see a lot better. I mean, Josh, if it upset Josh, there's more to it. I just glanced real quick at it and just like, you know,
You said your mother-in-law, the clerk.
I would probably talk to her, Gail.
So, anything else that you think I should know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Should read this. So apparently, states that the patient tried to give him money. Didn't say for what. He turned it down the first time, but then the second time he took it and put it in his pocket. Well, I was talking to Will West, you know, and that's how it got started. I mentioned it to Will, and he said, you know, it's kind of funny. He said, because he's told me before that if drug addicts don't have money, he'll give them money, and they have to give it back. To me, that sounds illegal. Byron says he thinks it's possibly something to do with campaign funds, but, I mean, you just putting
still
cash
have
in
to-
your pocket, I mean, that needs to be looked at.
And it's in her statement.
Yeah, she wrote that. That's what I keyed in on. I said, because he's the type of person, I'm not going to lie, that he'll put that money in his pocket. He won't never go. And I know Vic McNease told me that you have to do those election affidavits.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way. That man ain't smart enough to do that.
I'm trying to get my thoughts together, but anyway, being the city manager was in a class on Tuesday, and this is the first time I had got an opportunity. Well, I was talking to him by myself. I said, listen, I said, have you bought any more invisible trash trucks? Anyway, and I'm talking to the GBI and yada, yada, yada.
Affidavits. I mean, so that's an area I would look at as well.
Okay. Have any idea? Did she have any idea how much money it was?
No.
She
or-
said she just saw green
Yeah.
folded up
Yeah,
money.
and they confirmed it. I mean, Byron said he had heard about it too. I mean, when you got a sheriff's department, I know this ain't off the record, but when you got a sheriff's department, he told me yesterday, Byron, that it's a two-man show. There's him and his assistant. He could care less about his deputies.
And she's
he doesn't
not-
care about them. And that's got. I mean, you can't have a department
Well,
like
he
that.
can't. He's lost almost. He has what, 5 deputies left now.
He told me
Everybody
yesterday
quits.
that he called him. He used to call me drunk. I don't answer the phone no more. He called him drunk the other night and said, was bitching about the deputies leaving. He said, well, Sheriff, if you don't straighten up, they're all going to leave. And he said, well, you can take your ass and leave too. I don't care nothing about it. All y'all can leave.
He used to. Yeah, he
Hey,
used
man's
to call.
got 3 deputies left. That's it.
He used to call Doug drunk every night, and
I
cuss
started.
us all
I
out.
start recording him now. He knows I record him, so he don't call me much.
But he does know that. there's
Yeah,
an
but he don't know
investigation.
you're down. He just knows there's something
that there's
going on.
that
Yeah.
there is a county investigation
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, he knows that. And
Related
I told
to
him,
employees.
because see, her and him they don't get along. So I told him, and when he called me, I just said, look, HR's investigating who? I said, Faye. And I said, if you need her, talk to her.
He won't call her.
He will never call
He'll
her.
probably make my life a living hell when I'm driving through the county where I live here.
We'll put a camera in your truck.
I won't
and
stop
we-
until I get to a.
In fact,
safe
I'll
place.
call Will, because I've done. That's what I told Will. I said, if any of them get behind me, I will not stop until one of your guys comes over. And he said, he said, you do that. You know, they pulled him over. I'm gonna tell you this story. They pulled him over, and the next day he goes and kicks Will's door. Just kicks the door open. You don't do that to no state patrol commander. Told him, said, why'd y'all guys pull me over? He said, because you were running 80-something mile an hour. He said, but I'm the sheriff. He said, well, you didn't have no lights on. Nobody knew. Well, I got blue lights. Well, they're white until they go blue. We didn't know that. He said, next time I ain't stopping. He said, well, either you'll be in the woods or you'll be in the ditch, but you're going to stop. Man, he's crazy. That man he's a lunatic, but he fits in.
He's even more crazy than the rest of us.
Yeah, yeah. There's stories, man. We keep you all day with stories on that man.
Anything else that y'all can think of? I mean,
Related to this case,
relative to,
Yeah, no,
to this.
no. I was going to tell him about how he's trying to pay everybody to run against the commissioners.
Yeah,
We'll get that another day.
Yeah.
he's very. Well, he really didn't win the election.
Mm-hmm.
But the city manager, the former police chief, was the sheriff. I run against him. But anyway, he died the week before the election. I lost by 106 votes. I still got to be the sheriff. And anyway,
Scott,
Yeah, I knew-
Scott was dead and still got elected, so
Yeah.
it's kind
Is
of
it bad against if we tell him that a
He
dead
lost.
man beat you?
Don't tempt me, because he already don't
I
like me.
I know. Well, I hope y'all can nail him this damn time.
I mean, as a woman,
Well, our goal is to see what the truth is and see where the facts lead us.
And that's what I told her. I said,
Yeah.
If
it
charges
was-
are appropriate, that's what we'll
if
do.
it was person against person, then it would be hard. But when you got 2 deputies, long-term deputies.
well, as a woman, if he's a sheriff and he thinks he can get away with this, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if he's doing this to employees, what if he does it to a citizen?
Well, I think justice is being served.
Partner is sitting kind of diagonal from me in the chair, and the patient is about meeting you in front of me. And Rick came up, I don't know if it was behind me or beside of me, but he came up on my right side and whispered something in my ear, and I was so focused on paying attention to the patient because I was going to be the one doing the report that I wasn't really listening. But it was like he was telling me something that he accidentally almost done. And then I felt his hand on my butt, and then he patted twice. So then and then when after it, I started thinking like, was he telling me that he was going to slap my butt, and then he still did it? I can't really remember what he said because I was just so focused on the patient, but after he had touched my butt, I kind of laughed like nervously laughed, like kind of like, what, did that really just happen to me? Just touch me like that? And I looked at Denton Wilson and Hollinger kind of like, I went back to my business, I focused on my patient, I didn't tell my partner I should have. I should have told my partner I did, but I didn't because I was like, focused on my patient, need to figure out what's wrong with her. I'm just going to kind of put it in the back of my mind for right now. I'll deal with it later. After we had gotten done with the patient, and then she started rummaging through her purse, it was like, I've been meaning to give this to you, talking to Rick, and she pulled out money. I don't know how much it was. It was green and it was folded, but it looked like a couple of bills stacked, kind of. She was like, I want to thank you for your service or something like that. And he denied it. The person was like, no, ma'am, I can't take that. And she was like, no, yes. And then he took it and put it in his front pocket in his shirt.
And so the person that touched you was Rick, the sheriff. What was he wearing that day?
He was wearing his white uniform shirt, pants. I know it was his uniform.
Did you see what vehicle he was in?
It's his white truck, the county truck, the sheriff's truck that all of them always drive. It's the white one.
Did the two deputies see the money that you know?
I think they were outside.
I think they were outside at that point. Okay. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel very uncomfortable. And that's not the first time this has happened. Now, on the sexual organ, yes, but I've worked in the clerk's office for 5 years before EMS, and he is always a little touchy-feely, and it makes you very, very uncomfortable.
Tell me more about that, about when you worked in the clerk's office, and you said it's always been touchy-feely.
He would just, he would grab you by the waist, or on your very lower back, so he would just touch your arm or your shoulder, but especially your lower back, and kind of reach around and grab your waist, I guess, to give you a hug or something.
This ain't got nothing to do with the girl getting her butt touched. Anyway, now I've always been a hugger and that type of stuff, and they screwed me. You know I'm lying now. I, honest to God, do not remember.
But you've seen him touching people the same way you described while you worked in the clerk's office.
Yeah, just saying really weird things. Like, I'm not one for hearsay, but the girl that works in the clerk's office now, she told me that they were in court one day, and he asked if he could lay his head on her chest and take a nap. She's 19 years old.
So, the statement that I have to read to you, it just says, this investigation is to determine whether any criminal laws have been violated during the incident, and it's not an administrative or disciplinary inquiry. You are not being compelled to give any statement or answer any questions, and your cooperation in the investigation is voluntary. Are you willing to talk to me?
Sure.
Okay. You're not in any kind of trouble or anything. From my understanding, you're a witness to an allegation that's been made, and so we're here investigating that allegation.
Right.
I have been in contact with the county manager's office, and they've given me some statements that you had written, I guess earlier in the week about what went on. But I'd like to just kind of, in your own words, just kind of describe, why you guys were there at the house. Once you got there, what happened, what you saw, whatever took place.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We were there for a medical call, and it just came out as a simple medical call. Then they said that we needed to be en route because the complainant was advising she had been pushed down the stairs. And the sheriff was sitting down and got up and walked to try to make the dog hush. And when he came back out of the kitchen, he walked by and made a grabbing motion towards her butt. he looked over there and he saw that Erica and I saw him, and the other deputy. He walked over there and he asked Erica, he said, "Was your body camera recording?" And she said, "No, sir." And he said, "Good." And he kind of laughed it off, you know, and he went back over there, and when he was walking off, he was saying something, but I don't remember what it was. I don't think it was important. But anyway, he walked back over there to whisper something in his ear, in her ear, and he patted her on the butt. And she kind of laughed, kind of like nervously. That was pretty. After that, I walked outside, and he walked outside with me. And like I said, he laughed when he asked Erica about the body camera, but he went back over there, like I said, and whispered something in her ear and patted her on the butt. And you could tell through body language it kind of made her.
She wasn't with that.
You know. But I just walked outside. Erica stayed in there for a few more minutes after I walked outside, and she came out, and it wasn't probably 2 or 3 minutes. The complainant that called 911, her mother had showed up on scene and asked the sheriff, "Was he good?" And he said, "Yeah, we got it," or "I got it," and we went to Nate. And after that,
How far away was he when he did that?
say this is right here, the edge of my phone. I mean,
So he was that close to it. Okay.
and her back was turned.
And so after he did that, when he walked over there and asked y'all, with your cameras on?
Yeah, he asked Erica, was her body camera recording? And she said, "No, sir." And he said, "Well, good." And, you know, kind of laughed a little bit, and he turned around and was saying something. I don't remember what it was. And he walked back over and kind of went up behind her and kind of put his arm on her shoulder and was whispering something in her ear, and then he patted her on the butt, on the left butt area. But she didn't. The last thing she said to me when I was leaving, I asked her could she move the ambulance so Erica could get out. And then we moved the sheriff's truck so Erica could get out, but she didn't say anything. She just kind of nervously laughed and just kind of shook my head and told Erica I was walking outside. So
Okay. How long have you worked at the sheriff's office?
I've worked here for 3 years.
Since Rick has been the sheriff, have you ever seen anything like this happen before? Yeah. What
I haven't actually seen him make contact, but in court he'll go up behind somebody or up to an attorney and kind of, "How you doing this morning?" You know, just really inviting himself into their personal space when you shouldn't. But
being another female and being an employee of the sheriff's office, has anyone else ever confided in you, you know, a complaint about the sheriff? You know, like, "Hey, I wish the sheriff wouldn't do this," or "I don't understand why the sheriff did this to me," or anything like that?
yeah. Well, not really confided, just said that what he had done that made him feel uncomfortable, but it wasn't necessarily. I mean, I guess it was confided because I never said anything to anybody, but somebody from the courthouse said that about laying his head on her chest, and then a comment that he made to another secretary in the courthouse. You know, they told me, she herself told me about that, but like I said, I guess it's confided, but because I never told anybody, and they asked me not to. They were just telling me about it.
What did he tell that secretary?
Which one?
The second one.
I don't really want to say her name, but basically he called her sexy.
It's like a pet name for her?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's one of those things called between a rock and a hard place.
But based on where you were standing, no doubt in your mind that he actually physically touched her.
Oh, I saw him.
Okay. Did you have a body camera with you?
No, sir, I didn't have mine on. I was in another vehicle because mine was on the wash rack, and the funeral came up. Erica had hers on her vest.
Did she have it on at maybe the start of the call and had turned it off at some point?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't pay attention.
Car camera or anything like that would have been activated at all during the incident?
Yeah, but we don't have audio for them yet. We're like waiting on the mics to come in or something.
Okay. So it could have been recording or it was recording?
They record, the cameras in the vehicles record all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't record audio.
Okay.
All it records is what's in front of the vehicle.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Would it have been activated or anything? Would it still be on the cameras now or downloaded to the station or?
the car camera,
Mm-hmm.
it'd still be on the Sims card. Our body cameras aren't linked with the
car camera?
right.
Okay.
It's two different things. And like I said, the cameras are it's almost like a GoPro.
Mm-hmm. They're like dash cameras like you could put in your private vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How long do they stay on there?
I have
Don't
no
know.
idea.
Okay.
I think a pretty good while though.
Okay. Do you recall seeing anybody else at the scene that could have seen anything else? The patient, any family members of the patient, any other law enforcement, any other EMTs besides?
The complainant could have seen it. The mother wasn't on the scene yet.
I've been told that at some point during, and it could have been well after any of this happened, that a former deputy showed up over there, David Lovering.
Mm-hmm.
Lovering. Were you there when he got there, or was he? Okay. So I guess he wouldn't have been there when the actual incident took place.
The sheriff had been trying to get in touch with the mother.
Is there anything else that you can think of that I should know?
That's it.
Okay. Was the sheriff, I guess he was on duty in his sheriff shirt, badge, gun, pants?
Yeah, he had his everyday hat he wears that's got the Miller County badge on it, I think. Or it says sheriff or something. But he had on, it was Friday, and normally he dresses down on Friday, but he had on his red polo, or his red, like, Columbia shirt, button-up shirt, and it has Miller County on it, the badge and all. And he had on blue jeans and his badge and his gun and all that.
And he was in his sheriff's vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of that I should know?
Off record.
I can't promise it that it will be off record.
I understand.
But you know, if it's of no significance, it's of no significance. But I'm interested in hearing whatever you got to say.
It don't matter. It's probably gonna come out anyway. I have no idea what he was talking about, but he called me yesterday afternoon. Of course, he's trying to figure out what's going on, rightfully so. But he asked me, did anybody ask me about something else he took?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what that was. Miller County rumor mill's already gotten out, but as far as me actually knowing, no, I don't know. Was not there.
Okay.
If or when that actually happened.
So he asked you if somebody had asked you if he had taken something.
Mm-hmm. Taking something else.
Taken something else. Okay. Do you have any idea what that means?
Rumor mill, money.
The rumor mill says money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you were asking, was there anything? I didn't want you to think I was trying to cover anything up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure when he sees I've done a statement and stuff, I'm done. So.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to cover anything up. I'm going to do what's right. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I don't want.
Well, you know, anything that you said to us, I'm not going to him and say, look, this is what your people told us. You know,
I understand.
I'm not doing that. You know, I can't say that he won't ever find out what you said, but we will keep it from him as long as we can.
I understand.
Just because, you know, that's how investigations work. You know
Absolutely.
that. With him making that question to you, I would have. Have you ever thought that he would take money from somebody that he shouldn't? Yeah. Have you ever seen him take money that he didn't have a right to take?
No.
But you've had concerns?
I won't necessarily say about him, but that's a whole nother. I've had concerns about his TAC officer down there, but I won't necessarily say about him. Has thought crossed my mind? Yeah, it's crossed my mind with every sheriff I've ever worked for.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen him do it. He's never said he's done it. There's never been any, it's just.
So then with the rumor and then him asking you that's what's giving you
It
cause
has
for
created
concern.
doubt.
Okay. That's the biggest cause for concern that
Right.
you've got now.
Yeah, it has
Prior,
created
I
doubt.
guess maybe prior to that question and prior to this rumor, you wouldn't have been that worried about if he
No,
was
I mean,
taking money from people.
If I hadn't heard the
people deserve.
rumor and this investigation wasn't going on, and you'd have come to me and been like, hey, I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I
Is
sure
that all,
appreciate
or
it.
you got any more
That's all
questions?
I've got. Unless you've got anything else for me. Do you have any questions for me?
No, do you? Just trying to figure out how long of a process this is going to be. I know it takes time investigation.
Yeah. We're doing things as fast as we can.
I know
But you know
I know how it
how it
goes.
is.
I know how it goes.
So
If I have anything else or whatever, I got your number. I'll get in
yeah,
contact
just give
with
me
you.
a call.
Or if you need me, you got my number. I'm the investigator for the sheriff's office, so I'm not hard to find.
Right.
As you know, we found out that Rick had been calling you. What's he been calling? What's been going on with that?
His conspiracy theories about why everything has happened, obviously. He thinks it's all politically motivated. Not before last, he was, telling me that he wanted me to be honest with the grand jury, but was insinuating, I guess for me to try not to make it look as bad as it seems. And he doesn't remember anything about that day, and, he did admit it to me one time, but then the night before last, he said, I don't even remember doing that. And his whole thing is he had no ill intent, no sexual gratification out of it, but and he, in his eyes, he didn't do anything wrong. He's hired supposedly an investigator that's going to come talk to me. He didn't name anybody else. He just specifically said me, and he just wanted me to be honest, but try not to make it look as bad. And he said, when you talk to the grand jury, he said, just basically make sure you tell them that we were laughing and cutting up and all of that. And, but he said, I'm not telling you what to say to the grand jury. Tell them that it's the truth, but it's not like it seems, like everybody's making it out to be, basically.
Does he call you all the time, or is it a specific time of day, or?
Almost every day about 6:30 since he's been suspended. When he found out he was suspended on Tuesday, he texted me and said that he wanted me to keep a close eye on Sheriff Holt and not to let him spend any money. And all I said back was, I think I said okay, or either I said 10-4. My thing is Erica, she's brand new to law enforcement, basically. And I don't know if she hadn't said anything. I don't know if she's calling him or if he's calling her. But, she's worried because she's never been involved in anything like this. And I told her, I said, just tell the truth. 799C. Just tell the truth, that's all you got to do. But Rick the other night was saying that he knows that there's some more people at the sheriff's office that's not with him or for him. And that when he comes back, he's going to deal with that. Basically, like he said, right before he fired Byron, and which I know in the off chance if it's no build, he's going to fire me anyway, because he's going to find out that I'm the one who snitched. And I'm not a snitch, but right's right, wrong is wrong.
Right.
I just wish there could be some kind of, which I know that y'all have nothing to do with that he can't contact any of us.
Yeah.
Because that would help.
Well, if he's contacting the witnesses in the case and trying to
Work out their testimony for the grand jury, that's a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a whole different thing if he's got a private investigator that's working in conjunction with his defense attorney, and that investigator's coming and asking you what happened, and so they can prepare an argument or something of that nature.
Well, he asked
but him himself is.
He asked me the other night. He said, "This is how insignificant it is to me." He said, "I don't even remember that day." He said, "I vaguely remember anything about that day." And he asked me. He said, "So what happened?" He asked, "What did I do?" And it caught me off guard, and I ain't gonna lie to him. I said, Sheriff, you touched her on the butt. I said, and you asked Erica, was her body camera rolling? She said, no, you left, and, well, you made a motion you was gonna touch her on the butt. You saw us, you came over there and asked Erica, was your body camera rolling? She said, no, sir. You left, said good, went over there, you whispered something in his ear, and then you patted her on the butt. He said, I don't even remember none of that.
Mm-hmm. But he told you to minimize your testimony in front of the grand jury? Is that accurate?
He didn't say it like that, but he just wants me to tell the grand jury the truth, and he insinuated in Rick's way to make it not look as bad as it seems. He wants me to tell them that we were all laughing and cutting up. It wasn't a laugh and cut up like ha ha funny, it was like a ha ha what the hell.
Yeah,
I mean,
nervous laughter.
Yeah, like, you seriously just did that? I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Well, what about you? You said he said something you remembered him saying, like, I'm not telling you what to say to the grand jury, but tell them it's not like everyone's making it out to be. Is that an accurate quote from him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when did that phone call take place?
He found out he was suspended Tuesday. That it was Tuesday night at 7:25 when he called me, and the conversation lasted for 27 minutes.
How many times has he called you since he's been suspended?
5 times.
He got suspended, was it Monday? Tuesday.
Tuesday night, he called me Tuesday night and Wednesday night, and both nights it was basically the same conversation both nights. But when he was working, he never said a word about it, except for when everything first happened. But when we were working, he, you know, if he called me,
professional contact, like it was work-related conversations.
He mentioned anybody specifically he was going to deal with when he got back?
No, sir. He did tell me. Well, he asked me, or he said, I know Byron's behind a lot of this. He asked me, was I at Judge Suggs' house 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't. Asked me, had I ever been to Judge Suggs' house, and I said yes. And I said, but that was before any of this ever happened. And Judge Suggs and I were friends outside of work. He asked me, did I go to Judge Suggs' house 2 weeks ago with Steve, who is the jail administrator, and Byron? And I said no. And I feel pretty certain that he's talking about Steve, because he says somebody in a higher position at the sheriff's office. He thinks that he's got it all figured out. He told me that he knows that somebody at the sheriff's office doesn't have his back, and that when he comes back after the 60 days, he is going to deal with it. And then he asked me, he said, how did all of this come about? He insinuated that I knew more than I was letting on. He said, I know you know what's going on. The sheriff, all I know is I was asked about it when it came out, and I told the truth. And he said, right. And he said, he's thinking I know more about the situation, and which I do. But the day that he fired Byron, I went in there and told him, I said, Sheriff, I'm the one who took it to Byron. And then literally that afternoon, he asked me how did all of this happen. So he's wanting somebody to tell him what's going on. I gave him the opportunity to fire me for it, but I'm not going to tell him again. I can't, I got a child to raise. And I went in there and told him that I'm the one who brought it to Byron's attention, and Byron took it as he should. And all he said was, you told the truth, I'm good with that. And then literally a couple hours later, the same day, he asked me, who's the one who even made the initial complaint? So it's things like that that we're dealing with. And I lost my train of thought. I had a point on the other, but I lost my train of thought.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that you recorded any of these conversations?
No, sir.
Would you be willing to record the next conversation?
If I can figure out how to do it, I told AJ I didn't know how to do it.
Have you got a voice recorder?
Yeah,
or
at the
anything?
office.
At the office?
I mean, I can take it anywhere I want to. I'll just bring
Yeah,
it
that's what I was
home
going to
with
say.
me.
If you didn't have one, we'd go and get one with some investigative funds. But if you've got one, that's fine. Just you need to have it with you. And if you see his phone on there, you need to be jumping it out and getting it turned on and ready. Because, you know, just like you said, you don't know what the grand jury is going to do.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen with that suspension.
Right.
And you're concerned for your job
Oh,
and
yeah.
and the benefit of that, and so you need to be recording any contact with him just to protect yourself in the future, just because you don't know what it holds with all of
agree.
that. And if he shows back up as the sheriff at some point, then just like you're saying, some of the things he's saying, I would expect at some point he would, if the grand jury no-billed it, at some point the case would become open record where he could look at it and see.
Yeah.
And so,
And it's just, I'm just ready for it to.
Well, I know it's stressful too. So
Yeah,
we
I
get
mean,
that.
it's not that bad. It's just, I don't know if y'all have ever dealt with Rick on anything. It's just, he gets drunk, and he just wants to sit there and talk, and then he wants to fuss about this and that, and he's putting his conspiracy theories together, and he thinks he's slick and hoping that I'll slip up and say something. It's almost like, sometimes it almost feels like he's baiting me, but I mean, I'm smarter than that.
yeah.
And, I do say stuff like when he's talking about Byron, I say, yeah. He was like, Byron's plan backfired. He was like, Byron did all this because he thought he was going to be interim sheriff. And just to show face, try to stay in the good graces as much as possible. I'm like, yeah, I hope you come back. I don't care one way or the other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've worked for a sheriff's office enough to know, especially up in Randolph County, the first time they get wind that you're against them, that's going to make your life hell.
Yeah.
So, and I'm fine with that. It's just, like I said, when he was back at work, we never had the conversation. Since he's been suspended, it's 2 nights in a row. Like I said, I didn't answer last night because I just didn't want to go through the same thing.
The same old story, same.
And it's just well, Jimmy, don't let him spend any money. People are against me. Just tell the truth to the grand jury. I want you to do that, but it's not as bad as everybody's making it seem. I'm just tired of hearing it.
Did he appear to be drinking based on your knowledge or experience?
Absolutely. You can always tell when Rick's drunk.
So all the times you've talked to him since the suspension, he's been drinking.
Hell, I could hear him moving around, and I can't know this for sure, but I know Rick, and I know that he was getting him some beer out the ice chest, which, whatever. But
Right.
you won't hear from him much until he's good and buzzing. And that's when he wants to talk about everything.
Yeah. Well, I know that you don't want to talk to him about it anymore, but I would ask that you do talk to him and record it. That's something that we could then take back to the judge and say, hey, Judge, this has happened, and what are we going to do about these, him not contacting these witnesses, and then see what happens from there.
Plus, if he's calling you, he's probably calling other people too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And it's not right for him to put undue pressure on y'all. Because,
Yeah.
it is.
And
It's pressure, and he knows it. Because, it's y'all's jobs. Like you said, you got a family to support.
And you've been around it a long time and got some experience in how to handle things, and Erica's brand new and don't.
Right.
And be easily pressured, especially if she was scared of not having a job in 60
got 2
more
little
days.
boys too. Yeah, he took all of the work phones up when he took office.
Does he ever text, or he just call you?
Are there any texts regarding?
Just about, he was telling me that Jimmy Holt was going to be the interim, telling me that he's suspended for 60 days. Hopefully things will be resolved if the grand jury no bills. I don't know any more about nothing, but he's the elected sheriff. If everything goes well, he'll be back in 60 days. I asked him what keys to what vehicle did I need to give Sheriff Holt, because Rick's funny about vehicles. And he said, I'll be back. He told me, I'll be back. You realize that, don't you? Because if this thing flies through, there are some major crooks in Miller County. And just to save face and keep that little bit of him feeling like that there's some loyalty there, I was like, LOL, I want you to. He said, that's when he said, hey, anyway, I'm not giving you an order, but please get that drug box cleaned out. I said, okay. Please take care of things best you can. Don't let him go spending money. Thanks a lot for everything, because I've been doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with court. Holt has never been a sheriff. He only says stuff like that. I was just making sure, because
What's the deal with the drug box? Why would he ask you to clean that out?
I don't know.
Is that something you normally do?
It wasn't until he fired the chief deputy, and then I went from chief investigator, chief deputy, sergeant over road patrol, and everything else. But it's never been a pressing issue.
You know what's in the drug box?
I haven't cleaned it out. Then I read it to Steve, the jail administrator, and I was like, wonder why he's so freaked out about the drug box. He said, I don't know, but he's mentioned it a couple of times that we need to get it cleaned out. He hadn't to me until that day, but apparently it's mentioned it to Steve. And he was like, he's about to have a fit, and I said,
When you clean out the drug box, have somebody with you, and make sure you document either photographs or evidence receipts or something exactly what's in there.
okay,
To protect yourself, because you don't know what's in there. You never had any contact with it.
right.
So just, I would have somebody else to witness everything I did, and I would take as much pictures as I thought I needed to document what was in it and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So
Yes, sir, I will. As a matter of fact, we don't have a key to it, so Steve knows how to open it with the vice grip. So, but we hadn't been too worried about it.
which is odd that he's worried about it. Though, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you mind if I take pictures of the text?
The biggest part of my irritation with it is he knows that I've been in law enforcement a long time. He knows I've worked with 2 different sheriff's offices, Randolph and here, and I know. And so I think that, because I've already thought about that, you know, he knows what he's doing. He knows that I'm going to say just enough to where he feels like I still am loyal to him.
Yeah.
Because I, got a family and all that. I mean, it's just.
But with him bringing that up like he does every time about taking care of the people who ain't loyal to him.
And then asking you if you're loyal to him. I mean,
Yeah, he told me, he said, I need to know right now, Belba, that's my nickname, are you with me or not? And I said, Sheriff, I'm here. I said, if you come back, if you'll have me, I'm still here. He didn't say a word.
Well, and I'll tell you this too, I'm not giving you advice or tell you what to do or what not to do. It's entirely up to you, but you don't have to talk to anybody about this if you don't want to.
Yes, sir.
You know, unless you're under oath somewhere, you don't.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But I'm not telling you not to talk to private investigators or whatever
Yes,
else.
sir.
That's entirely up to you.
That just kind of scares me a little bit, because, it don't scare me, but I'm cool with talking to y'all, because we're on the same team.
They're the same way like us. You could tell us, I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
And we ain't got no choice but to leave the same thing for them. So.
And that's the thing is, when he mentioned that, it's voluntary, I'm not being investigated or anything, he said, I want you to talk to him. And I know I don't have to, but at the same time, in the off chance.
And so he was adamant that he wanted you to talk to the investigator whenever he came down here. Okay.
Y'all might not know, I'm just asking between us. You know how I roll, AJ. If it's no build, is he gonna be removed? Or y'all don't know?
I wouldn't know what the next step would be.
That'd be between post and the governor's office.
I got you. Okay.
And I'll tell you this too, this is a piece of advice that I think you ought to consider. If the private investigator comes and you feel obligated to talk to him because of what the sheriff told you, because you're trying to keep your job, you need to be 100% straight up with that investigator. Don't try to fluff it. Don't try to play the middle of the road. I understand your circumstances and you're in a bad position. But if you try to play the middle of the road and what you tell him doesn't exactly line up with what you told us, they're going to use that in court to make it look like that you're lying to one or the other.
Right.
When really you're not. You're just not telling him the whole story because you don't want to get fired.
Right.
But if you make that decision to talk to him, you got to be 100% honest. Otherwise they're going to use it against you.
Okay.
And if you don't feel comfortable talking to him, you don't have to talk to him. It's up to you.
Okay.
And just like when you said what you were telling the sheriff about what happened, I mean, you went through the details, matched exactly what me and you talked about at the post that day. You know, if that's what you tell the investigator, then
Right.
and that's the truth, and that's the truth.
Absolutely.
It's just like he said, you can't minimize it for.
We
with
understand
him.
what you're doing with the sheriff and all,
Mhm.
and I get it.
You got to do your best to protect the sheriff's view of you.
Right.
You know.
And you can simply explain that in court. They ask you, you can, or the
Mhm.
DA can, you can simply say, hey, I've got a wife and kids, I can't lose my job. You know, so I'm trying to keep kind of right there on that fence, you know. But it's different if you give a statement to an investigator, you know.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Yeah. We know you're in a tough spot.
Yeah, I've been
This job sometimes puts you in tough spots.
at Randolph County. I was there when they arrested 2 officers, and I wasn't involved, but I kind of watched. But being involved is totally different. I wasn't worried about my job then.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not now. I can go anywhere in the state I want to.
Yeah.
But I want to stay home. So.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to though.
But I appreciate it. Sorry y'all drove all this way.
It's okay.
No worries.
If
what
I
we're here
could have
for.
broke loose, I'd have met you in Bainbridge or something. But
Yeah, I understand. Everywhere in southwest Georgia is short-handed right now, for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
Be
Y'all
safe.
be safe.
all right, you too. Take care.
All right, y'all.
If you have any questions about that.
He said when he got back to town, there's 2 son of a bitches, or a couple son of a bitches at the sheriff's office that he was going to make an example out of, and that nobody could work for him. He couldn't have anybody working for him that's not loyal to him.
Yeah.
So, and like I told you in my interview, I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen, but I'm good. I'm at peace with it because I did the right thing.
Yeah.
So
you say he called you? You said he called you last night.
yeah, but other than that, I haven't spoken with him, and I've just been laying low.
All right. Well, let me see. I want to make sure I understand what he said. He said there's a couple sumbitches up there he needs to make an example of.
Yeah, and he couldn't have anybody working for him that wasn't loyal to him. But now I know at the sheriff's office, and besides Jennifer or whatever, I know that I'm the only one he's talked to. So if that comes out, he's gonna know that came from me.
Yeah. Who do you think he is talking about? Them 2 people.
Myself and Byron, the chief deputy.
Yeah. Before he made those statements, did he say anything about the investigation going on?
He asked me, did the GBI talk to me yesterday, and I said yes, sir. And he asked me, he said, you can't pick up the phone and call me, and I said, well, not really supposed to talk about it. And he said, well, who do you work for? And I said, well, I work for you, Sheriff. And he said, that's right. And that's when he went on his rant about people not being loyal and couldn't work for him and blah, blah, blah. And he talked about, he said, I touched her on her butt. I didn't mean anything by it.
Did you happen to have it recorded when you were talking with him?
No, because I don't know how to make my phone do that, or I would have, because, I got to protect myself too. And like I said, I know what's going to happen, and I'm good with it. It's just, I'm one of those people, if it's going to happen, let's go ahead and get it over with so I can start moving forward and getting things situated.
Yeah.
But he said that when he got back today, that some things were going to change at the sheriff's office. There's a couple son of bitches that he was going to make an example out of, and he couldn't have anybody working for him that's not loyal to him.
Yeah. And he said that after asking you about the GBI talking to you.
Mm-hmm. He never asked me what I said or anything like that, which I wouldn't have. I wasn't going to be that open, but he just asked that I talked with the GBI yesterday.
Do you know if he's talked to Byron since all this is kicked off?
I talked to Byron this morning. I called him just wondering if he had heard anything or, just kind of seeing, was there an update or, whatever. And I also had to ask him something about the sheriff's office deal, but he said that he hasn't talked with the sheriff and he doesn't know when he'd get back or whatever, because I'm needing to order gloves for the deputies and stuff, and only people that can approve that is him and all that. So I asked him had he heard from him, if he knew when he'd be back today or whatever.
Is there anything else that he said that you can remember that I should know, or anything else that's
that's going on since we talked yesterday that I should know?
No, just, he admitted it, or, he admitted that he touched her on the butt or whatever.
Yeah. He just kind of downplayed it some?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as body-worn cameras, who has access to download that kind of stuff?
We all do.
Y'all do. Have you looked to see if there's any video at all from Hollinger from that day?
I haven't, just because she said it wasn't on, but
Yeah.
she'll be back tomorrow. She can put it on to download just to make sure.
Yeah. I know when I talked to her yesterday, I'd asked her to download it last night before she went home, to see, just in case there was even if it was just a couple of minutes from the beginning of the call, before that incident actually happened.
Right.
But we'd be
and
interested
she
in
probably
that.
did. I don't go in there, I don't look. I download my camera in my office, and they download them, in the
Patrol
big
room.
office. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you happen to look on the system and see that she has downloaded it, and there's anything from that day at that time, if you don't mind just sending me a text so I'd know it's available, and I'd be trying to get a hold of it later.
Okay, yeah, ain't no problem. I'll go over there and check in just a few minutes before I forget.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. If the sheriff reaches out to you and says anything else to you, like you said, you need to protect yourself, because I don't know what his plans are or anything of that nature, and then especially if he's going to talk openly about the case to you, I would be interested in hearing what he had to say if you did record it.
Okay. All right, ain't no problem, man.
All right.
All right, buddy. Be safe out there.
You too. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, man?
not much. How are you?
Just another day in paradise.
I understand that.
I didn't know if this was, and I wasn't expecting a conversation like this, so I didn't have time to record or whatever, and I didn't know if you'd even be interested in this or whatever, but the sheriff admitted to me yesterday that he took $100 for his campaign fund.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, but I was just going to pass that along to you.
Okay. Has he talked to you about, when we talked the last time, he said he was going to make some changes, and you thought that he may fire you? Has he talked to you about that or anything?
No, I hadn't. Since the last time he called me and I told you about it, I hadn't talked to him until yesterday. And, I guess you've heard, or you might not have, he fired the chief deputy yesterday.
Yeah.
So, which he says it has nothing to do with this, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
He did tell me yesterday, he said if I thought, he's not mad at me for telling the truth, and if he thought I was disloyal to him, he'd have fired me with Byron.
All right. And so that happened yesterday? That conversation?
Yes.
Okay. As far as he's dealing with you, you're still being allowed to work and work like normal, I guess?
Yeah, he hasn't said anything. I'm just, watching my back, doing what I need, crossing my T's, dotting my I's.
Yeah. And so the conversation where he said something about the $100, that happened in the same conversation where he was telling you if he thought you was disloyal, he would have fired you with Byron?
Yeah.
Okay. 10-4. And so you said you didn't have a recording of it?
No, I didn't. It was one of those that if I'd have pulled my phone out and started messing with it, he'd have known what was up,
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't expecting a conversation like that.
Yeah. Anything else going on, or anything else you've heard of or found out that I should be aware of?
Not to my, no.
Okay.
Just, this and him firing Byron yesterday, and it's just a mess.
So is the sheriff back at the office working like normal now?
Yes.
Okay.
He did tell me yesterday that he wasn't going to talk to y'all.
Okay.
I don't know. He could have just been saying that to say it, or he could be serious. I don't know.
Yeah. 10-4. All right. Well.
It's just a mess, man.
Yep, it is. If anything else happens or anything goes on, just please give me a call. I sure appreciate it.
I will, buddy, and I appreciate you.
Yep. Y'all take care, okay?
All right, we will. Be safe, man.
Thank you. You too.
He said when he got back to town, there's two son of a bitches, or a couple son of a bitches at the sheriff's office that he was going to make an example out of, and that nobody could work for him. He couldn't have anybody working for him that's not loyal to him.
Yeah.
So, and like I told you in my interview, I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen, but I'm good. I'm at peace with it because I did the right thing.
Yeah.
So
you say he called you? You said he called you last night.
Yeah, but other than that, I haven't spoken with him, and I've just been laying low.
All right. Well, let me see. I want to make sure I understand what he said. He said there's a couple sumbitches up there that he needs to make an example of.
Yeah. And he couldn't have anybody working for him that wasn't loyal to him.
Okay.
But now I know at the sheriff's office, and besides Jennifer or whatever, I know that I'm the only one he's talked to. So if that comes out, he's gonna know that came from me.
Yeah. Who do you think he is talking about? Them two people?
Myself and Byron, the chief deputy.
Yeah. Did before he made those statements, did he say anything about the investigation going on?
He asked me, did the GBI talk to me yesterday, and I said yes, sir. And he asked me, he said, you couldn't pick up the phone and call me, and I said, well, not really supposed to talk about it. And he said, well, who do you work for? And I said, well, I work for you, Sheriff. And he said, that's right. And that's when he went on his rant about people not being loyal and couldn't work for him and blah, blah, blah. And he talked about, he said, I touched her on her butt, I didn't mean anything by it. Stuff like that.
Did you happen to have it recorded when you were talking with him?
No, because I don't know how to make my phone do that, or I would have, because, I got to protect myself too, and like I said, I know what's going to happen, and I'm good with it. It's just, I'm one of those people, if it's going to happen, let's go ahead and get it over with so I can start moving forward and getting things situated.
Yeah.
But he said that when he got back today, that some things were going to change at the sheriff's office. There's a couple son of bitches that he was going to make an example out of, and he couldn't have anybody working for him that's not loyal to him.
Yeah. He said that after asking you about the GBI talking to you.
Mm-hmm. He never asked me what I said or anything like that, which I wouldn't have. I wasn't going to be that open, but he just asked that I talked with the GBI yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know if he's talked to Byron since all this is kicked off?
I talked to Byron this morning. I called him just wondering if he had heard anything or, just kind of seeing, was there an update or, whatever. And I also had to ask him something about the sheriff's office deal, but he said that he hasn't talked with the sheriff and he doesn't know when he'd get back or whatever, because I'm needing to order gloves for the deputies and stuff, and only people that can approve that is him and all that. So I asked him had he heard from him, if he knew when he'd be back today or whatever.
Okay. Is there anything else that he said that you can remember that I should know, or anything else that's that's going on since we talked yesterday that I should know?
No, just, he admitted it, or, he admitted that he touched her on the butt or whatever.
Yeah. He just kind of downplayed it some?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as body-worn cameras, who has access to download that kind of stuff?
We all do.
Y'all do. Have you looked to see if there's any video at all from Hollinger from that day?
I haven't, just because she said it wasn't on, but
Yeah.
she'll be back tomorrow. She can put it on to download just to make sure.
Yeah. I know when I talked to her yesterday, I'd asked her to download it last night before she went home, to see, just in case there was even if it was just a couple of minutes from the beginning of the call, before that incident actually happened.
Right.
But we'd be interested.
And she probably did. I don't go in there. I don't look. I download my camera in my office, and they download them. In the
Patrol
big
room.
office. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you happen to look on the system and see that she has downloaded it, and there's anything from that day at that time, if you don't mind just sending me a text so I'd know it's available, and I'd be trying to get a hold of it later.
Okay. Yeah, ain't no problem. I'll go over there and check in just a few minutes before I forget.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. If the sheriff reaches out to you and says anything else to you, like you said, you need to protect yourself, because I don't know what his plans are or anything of that nature, and then especially if he's going to talk openly about the case to you, I would be interested in hearing what he had to say if you did record it.
Okay. All right. Ain't no problem, man.
All right.
All right, buddy. Be safe out there.
You too. Take care.